basically what's happening now is for the fear that magkaroon ulit ng Duterte administration, kampi na lang tayo lahat sa Malacanang. So ang pinapaabot lang namin sa Malacanang ay hindi na po feasible yung Tito Soto, Risa Hontiveros, Kiko Pangilinan, Lacson Group of Four, Gang of Four, na pagpapatakbo ng Senado because it wasn't productive anymore. Panay 2028 lang ang issue, tapos maraming pinagtatakpan, tapos hindi nakatutok sa pangangailangan ng tao. They didn't listen to me. So on May 11, we got the majority. Okay? Hindi namin alam na si Senator Soto mismo, si SP, nagpapasok ng mga NBI at mahigit na 20 ahente nakakalat na sa buong Senate. That's never happened before. They've always coordinated, stayed in one place, and then talked kung paano. Parang kay Senator Jinggoy, napakaayos. Actually, it would have been better kung pinayagan nila ako i-escort sa labas. But nakita nyo, maayos. So yung May 11, in hindsight makikita nyo na po mga kababayan na May 11, set up nila yon. May 13, sila naglagay ng full battle gear na mga NBI at mapapatunayan namin, Senate premises po yon. So ang point ko po, sila yung nanggulo na nanggulo ng nanggulo, yung 11 kakampi ang Malacanang, kakampi po ang NBI, tapos pinapalabas, ako at kami ang magulo. Clear na yon, hindsight even yung walkout, nung sila nag-walkout, 12, wala daw quorum. Nung nagka-12 sila, meron na biglang quorum. Nung sinabi nila, gusto lang nila magtrabaho. Di ba? Nakita nyo naman po, hindi man lang nagbigay ng mga pangalan sila doon sa mga committee. So, paano nila sasabihin gusto nilang magtrabaho? Tapos nakita nyo, nung sinabi nila si Senator Wing ay acting Senate President, unang issuance, work from home. Nung pumasok pa rin ang mga taga-Senado, ang sinabi, alas 10, umuwi na kayo. Hindi ba katawa-tawa yon? Di ba yung sasabihin sa'yo, work, let's get back to work. Tapos yung unang i-issue is to work from home, then the next day, umuwi na kayo. 10 o'clock pa lang, pinapauwi na. Kaya nga sabi ko, mag-ingat si Senator Win, kasi maganda naman future niya. Huwag ka magpagamit sa Malacanang at dun sa mga kasamahan mo, kahit binibigyan ka ng high position. I'll give you the advice that someone I really respect gave me, which is, receive, don't grab. I didn't grab the Senate presidency in 2016. I didn't grab it in 2025. I didn't grab it in February 2022. But to God's grace, napunta sa akin. By the way, kung nakuha ko yon earlier, kasi di ba nagsama-sama Senator Coco, Senator Tito, Senator Frank Drilon, Senator Mig Subiri. Alam nyo kasi sinasabi nila masarap maging Senate President. Yun yung reading between the line Kasi usually tens of billions ang pwede mo ipasok sa budget. Usually yan, malaking mga discretionary funds ang pwede mo i-withdraw. Then of course, number 3 ka. So sa lahat ng mga ahensya ng gobyerno, basically you're a VIP there. Ang daming perks po ang pagiging Senate President. So when the 4 of them says na, Alan, bumitiw ka na lang, huwag kang kumapit sa posisyon. First and foremost, nagulat ako na these personalities, especially Senator Drilon and Senator Coco, were staunch anti-Marcos personalities. Suddenly, Marcos na rin. I'll go to that later, but what's my point? Sila na-enjoy nila lahat yan. Ako, the day na tinanggap ko at sinabi ko sa mga kasamahan ko, I'm up to the challenge. Kasi nung sinabi sa akin ni Senator Loren, ikaw na, Alan, kumilos na tayo. Nagtanong muna ako I went to Senator Cheese and said na, ako ba dapat talaga pa? But the day na tinanggap ko, I knew, I will not be an ordinary SP. This isn't the usual, di ba, na first among equals ka, na malaki pondo mo. I knew, laban to ng katotohanan. And I was told already na linggo-linggo, sisubukan kang alisin, laging araw-araw. And I knew na grabe ang gagawin nila, pero hindi ko na-imagine talaga na I knew they were gonna throw at me the kitchen sink. But I didn't know that pati yung kitchen itatapon nila. We knew na bubuhayin yung kaso laban sa iba sa amin, pero hindi namin alam na ganun talaga yung pressure na gagamitin. But The reason I bring that up, I wanted to emphasize, hindi kami nagkulang sa trying to build bridges. So finally, nung naka-first base kami, kausap namin ilan high officials and then hanggang umabot sa Malacanang, we communicated that you can trust us in me in particular and the group kasi nakausap ko na yung grupo. Gagawin namin maayos ang impeachment. Hindi namin papangako boto namin, but we will commit na we will listen to the evidence, we will view, we will hold it together with the legislative. Nag-commit din kami dun sa economic. Sabi namin, pagdating sa Blue Ribbon, aayusin natin yung mga hearings na hindi maapektuhan yung ating mga negosyante. But ako, sabi ko, kailangan lumabas yung totoo. Okay? So, hindi po kami nagkulang. So, yung 11 sa pagko-convince sa Malacanang na kalaban yan. So, the problem is they kept on inching towards doing illegal and immoral things until we got to the situation we are in here today. So yun po yung basic context of how we got here today. But more important than the state of the Senate is the state of the nation. So let me go to that. Sabi nila po, yung hindi marunong lumingon sa kanyang pinanggalingan ay hindi makakarating sa kanyang paruroonan. Sabi nila, history repeats itself. So, nung sinabing never again, nagulat tayo bakit again. But I think all of us, not only those who voted for the Marcos Duterte team, but even those who didn't, were praying and hoping maging successful dahil ang success ng administrasyon na to ay success natin lahat. Anong naging problema? Slowly and clearly, a pattern of corruption was shown. And then, nung sinabi ng Pangulo, mahiya naman kayo, lumabas po dito yung pinakamalaking corruption scam sa Pilipinas, involving trillions of pesos, including stolen money of at least hundreds of billions of pesos. By the way, si Senator Joel was one of those who first warned about it. So, kung ang sasabihin nila, paano naging Pangulo yon dahil he warned about it. Well, winar ng Pangulo, that was, I think, SONA ng 2025. But si Joel has been warning since 2023. To be fair, panahon pa ni Duterte, sinasabi niya na bantayan yung flood control sa Bulacan. So, what is the state of the nation? Remember when President Marcos Sr. was elected, he was very, very popular. No? I think he still is one of the greatest orators of the Philippines. And he knew our culture, alam niya yung damdamin ng Pilipino eh. At alam niya nung mga panahon na yon, when communism was sweeping the world, when there was the Cold War, and then it was sweeping Southeast Asia. And if you looked at Southeast Asia, it looked like a region na sigurado ang gera. We had a conflict with Malaysia over, hindi pa yung South China Sea noon, yung Sabah pa. And then, iba-iba ang religion at iba-iba ang form of government, no, ng Thailand, Singapore and Malaysia had a problem. Thailand had a problem with its neighbors, diba? Kaya kung hindi nga nagkaroon ng ASEAN, maaring naging war-torn ang ASEAN countries. But my point is, nagamit yung fear of communism, and then because from number 2 in the world sa ekonomiya, we were number 2, number 1 ang Japan sa region natin sa Asia, number 2 ang Pilipinas, then suddenly number 2, number 3 tayo sa bottom, 'di ba? After by the time na mag-EDSA revolution na. But the point is, ginamit yung economic crisis, ginamit yung class war, 'di ba? Yung oligarchs, yung control ng oligarchy sa Kongreso at sa ating ekonomiya at yung komunista. So it was such a big fear that many accepted martial law, 'di ba? And that's how we lost our democracy. So by the time na we regained it in 1986, an Aquino had to give his life, and then there was a need of the people to march on EDSA in the EDSA revolution. So fast forward, EDSA 1, EDSA 2, EDSA 3, iba-ibang stories, but we continued to fight corruption, and there were different kinds of abuses. But what's happening now? Basically, what's happening now is for the fear that magkaroon ulit ng Duterte administration, kampi na lang tayo lahat sa Malacanang. Diba? That's why sabi ko, meron tayong Marcos pa rin, These are the loyalists from the start. And of course, the Dutertes and Marcos ran together in 2022. But you've always had those who continue the legacy of President Cory Aquino and one of our country's heroes, Senator Benigno Aquino. Yung, whether you call them Dilaw, whether you call them yung halo-halo, yung Laban, PDP Laban, all these political parties, Dilaw tapos naging pink because nga nagkaroon ng mga issues during the Duterte time, no? Pero nagulat nga ako na gumising tayo isang araw, dalawa yung kampo. Kampo ng Duterte at yung Marcos pa rin na nagsama na yung Marcos na rin. And nagulat ako because even the extreme left, even some of the extreme right, yung mga fascista at saka yung ibang mga katulad ni Senator Lacson na more rightist ang ideology and then yung leftist ang ideology, yung dalawang paksyon nga nagkasundo eh. Mas mabuti yung mas extreme or yung affirmist kasi kahit papano nagkri-criticize din. But yung grupo nila Risa, Ontiveros, nila Ronald Llamas, talagang puring-puri na sa Marcos administration, no? So naging Marcos na rin. So nagulat din ako, people like Senator Drilon, people like Senator Coco. Because Senator Coco may tampo sa mga Duterte. So never mind na lumalabas Marcos na rin, ang importante to prevent another Duterte administration.